All right. Hello, I'm Lee. Happy Sabbath. Going to do a reading of Second Baruch. It's also known as the Apocalypse of Baruch, which is what the title is here. This is in the R.H. Charles translation. So it says translated from the Greek into Syriac. So I got that pulled up. I got a link to it below. King James pulled up. Blue Letter Bible pulled up. Brenton Septuagint pulled up. Also, I'll show you this right quick. Don't buy it today since it's the Sabbath, but if it's not the Sabbath where you're at, R.H. Charles. This is one of the copies that I have. Yeah, he's got the Apocrypha here. Zoom in a little bit so you can see it. Yeah, it's R.H. Charles, Apocrypha. Excellent edition of the Apocrypha. And here's the Pseudepigrapha. This has Second Baruch in it. Has Enoch in it, Jubilees in it, Testament of the 12 Patriarchs, all kinds of stuff. So I figured I'd just share that with you there. And all right, so here is Second Baruch, chapter 1. And it came to pass in the 25th year of Jeconiah, king of Judah, that the word of Yahuwah came to Baruch, the son of Neriah, and said to him, and we all know who the word is. The word, made flesh. John 1:14, the word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory. The glory is of the only begotten of the Father, the Son, full of grace and truth. So the word came to Baruch, said to him, Hast thou seen all that this people are doing to me, that the evils which these 2 tribes which remained have done are greater than those of the 10 tribes which were carried away captive? So he's prophesying in the time when the southern kingdom was still there and the 10 northern kingdom tribes were already carried away captive. For the former tribes were forced by their kings to commit sin, but these 2 of themselves have been forcing and compelling their kings to commit sin. And this is during the time of Jeremiah too. If you read, I should have read this before I started, but yeah, so in the King James you have Baruch, first Baruch here. So he has writings in the King James, which is in the Apocrypha section. So if you go to the Apocrypha, KJV Apocrypha, they were in the Bible, the 1611 King James Version, for 274 years until being removed in 1885. So Baruch was in the Bible for a long time, and then they got rid of all these books. So that's that there. So you know Baruch did write, and come on now. I'm not going to Baruch. It's in Jeremiah, I think like chapter 48 or 49. Baruch. Alright, where's it at? Here we go. Jeremiah chapter 36. And it came to pass in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, that this word came unto Jeremiah from Yahuwah, saying, and so he told him this stuff here. Then Jeremiah called Baruch, the son of Neriah, Baruch, the son of Neriah. And Baruch wrote from the mouth of Jeremiah all the words of Yahuwah, which he had spoken unto him upon a roll of a book. And Jeremiah commanded Baruch, saying, I am shut up, I cannot go into the house of Yahuwah. Therefore go thou and read in the roll, which thou hast written from my mouth, the words of Yahuwah in the ears of the people in Yahuwah's house upon the fasting day, and also thou shalt read them in the ears of all Judah that come out of their cities. It may be they will present their supplication before Yahuwah, and will return every one from his evil way, for great is the anger and the fury that Yahuwah hath pronounced against his people. And Baruch the son of Neriah did according to all that Jeremiah the prophet commanded him, reading in the book the words of Yahuwah in Yahuwah's house. So you got, and it came to pass in the 5th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, in the 9th month, that they proclaimed a fast before Yahuwah to all the people in Jerusalem, and to all the people that came from the cities of Judah into Jerusalem. Then read Baruch in the book the words of Jeremiah in the house of Yahuwah, in the chamber of Gemariah, the son of Shaphan, the scribe, in the higher court at the entry of the new gate of Yahuwah's house, in the ears of all the people. So you got that there. Yes, all the rest of that's a story about they're talking to Baruch. Yep. So you got that. So you got first Baruch, it's in the Bible. Or it was in the Bible until they took it out. And you've got Baruch witnessed to in Jeremiah. Then you've got, let's see. Yeah, so Jeremiah 45. Let's go to, no, wrong one. Jeremiah. Jeremiah 45. The word, Jeremiah chapter 45, the word that Jeremiah the prophet spoke to Baruch, the son of Neriah, when he had written these words in a book at the mouth of Jeremiah in the 4th year of Jehoiakim the son of Josiah, king of Judah, saying, Thus saith Yahuwah, the Elohim of Israel, unto thee, O Baruch, thou didst say, Woe is me now, for Yahuwah hath added grief to my sorrow. I fainted in my sighing, and I find no rest. Thus shalt thou say unto him, Yahuwah saith thus, Behold, that which I have built will I break down, and that which I have planted I will pluck up, even this whole land. And seekest thou great things for thyself? Seek them not, for behold, I will bring evil upon all flesh, saith Yahuwah. But thy life will I give unto thee for a prey in all places whither thou goest. So you got that there. And for this reason, so these two tribes of themselves have been forcing and compelling their kings to commit sin. For this reason, behold, I bring upon this city and upon its inhabitants, and it shall be removed from before me for a time, and I will scatter this people among the Gentiles, that they may do good to the Gentiles. And my people shall be chastened, and the time will come when they will seek for the prosperity of their times. For I have said these things to thee, that thou mayest bid Jeremiah and all those who are like you to retire from this city. For your works are to the city as a firm pillar, and your prayers as a strong wall. And I said, O Yahuwah, my master, have I come into the world for this purpose, that I might see the evils of my mother, Jerusalem? Not so, my master, if I have found grace in thy sight, first take my spirit, that I may go to my fathers, and not behold the destruction of my mother. For two things vehemently constrain me, for I cannot resist thee, and my soul, moreover, cannot behold the evils of my mother. But one thing I will say in thy presence, O Master, or Yahuwah, what therefore will there be after these things? For if thou destroyest thy city, and deliverest up thy land to those that hate us, how shall the name of Israel be again remembered? Or how shall one speak of thy praises? Or to whom shall that which is in thy law be explained? Or shall the world return to its nature of aforetime, and the age revert to primeval silence? And shall the multitude of souls be taken away, and the nature of man not again be named? And where is all that which thou didst say to Moses regarding us? And Yahuwah said unto me, This city shall be delivered up for a time, and the people shall be chastened during a time, and the world shall not be given over to oblivion. That's also in Second Esdras, I believe. Yeah. So you got Second Esdras chapter 7. Not sure about Common English Bible. Let's see. Yeah, let's just do. I like the R.H. Charles version of pretty much all of it. So chapter 7. Let's see. Second Ezra chapter 7. When I had made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me the angel which had been sent unto me the nights afore. This was also in the Apocrypha. And he said unto me, Up, Esdras, and hear the words that I am come to tell thee. And I said, Speak on, my Elohim. Then said he unto me, The sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case the entrance were narrow and like a river. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? There is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field, and is full of good things. The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? And I said, It is so, master. Then said he unto me, Even so also is Israel's portion. Because for their sakes I made the world, and when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. Then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail, they are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful. For the entrances of the elder world were wide and sure, and brought immortal fruit. If then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that are laid up for them. Now therefore why disquietest thou thyself, seeing thou art but a corruptible man? And why art thou moved, whereas thou art but mortal? Why hast thou not considered in thy mind this thing that is to come, rather than that which is present? Then answered I and said, O Master, that bearest rule, or O Yahuwah, thou hast ordained in thy law that the righteous should inherit these things, but that the ungodly should perish. Does that sound like the law is done away with? Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things and hope for the wide, for they that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things, and yet shall not see the wide. And he said unto me, There is no judge above Yahuwah, and none that hath understanding above the highest. For there be many that perish in this life, because they despise the law of Yahuwah that is set before them. For Yahuwah hath given straight commandment to such as came, what they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him, but spake against him, and imagined vain things, and deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, and said of the Most High that he is not, and knew not his ways. But his law they have despised, and denied his covenants. In his statutes they have not been faithful, and have not performed his works. Therefore Esdras, for the empty are empty things, and for the full are full things. Behold, the time shall come that these tokens which I have told thee shall come to pass, and the bride shall appear, and she coming forth shall be seen, that it now is withdrawn from the earth. The bride, Israel, the Messiah, the bridegroom. And whosoever is delivered from the foresaid evil shall see my wonders. For my son Yahusha shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years. So Ezra wrote about the time of the returning from the exile, about, I don't know if they say 586 BC, and within 400 years the Messiah came. A little bit over 400 years, if our history is correct. And after these shall my son the Messiah die, and all men that have life, and the world shall be turned into the old silence, primeval silence, 7 days, like as in former judgment, so that no man shall remain. That's when Rome hid the truth, and the truth was without fruit. And after 7 days the world that yet awaketh not shall be raised up, and that shall die that is corrupt. And the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her, the resurrection. And so shall the dust those that dwell in silence, in the secret places, shall deliver those souls that were committed unto them. You'll see the 3 chambers in Enoch, the places that hold the souls in the earth. And the Most High shall appear upon the seat of judgment, and misery shall pass away, and long-suffering shall have an end. But judgment only shall remain, truth shall stand, and faith shall wax strong. And the work shall follow, and the reward shall be showed, and the good deeds shall be of force, and wicked deeds shall bear no rule. So the world shall be turned into old primeval silence 7 days after the Messiah came. And that's exactly what happened. Constantine's Sunday edict around 300 AD, outlawing the Sabbath and the feast, and Rome and the church taking over. And you've got, what was the other one I was going to pick up? Oh yeah, if you think the law is done away with. Paul said the law is done away with. Nope. No, he didn't. Where's that? Romans, I think it's Romans 2:12. Romans 2. Yep. Romans 2:12. For as many as have sinned without the law, which everybody says the law is done away with, shall what? Perish. And as many as have sinned in the law, keeping the law, shall be judged by the law. And you see where 2nd Ezra talks about the narrow path. Matthew 7:12. Therefore all things whatsoever you would that men should do to you, do you even so to them. For this is the law and the prophets. Enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go therein thereat. Because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravaging wolves. You shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. And you want to know what fruit is? Psalms 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of Yahuwah, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For Yahuwah knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. What did Paul say? Perish. So that's the primeval silence that he's talking about here. Or shall the world return to its nature of aforetime, and the age revert to primeval silence? Dost thou think that this is a city of which I have said, on the palms of my hands have I graven thee? This building now built in your midst is not that which is revealed with me, that which was prepared beforehand, here from the time when I took counsel to make paradise, and showed it to Adam before he sinned. But when he transgressed the commandment, it was removed from him, as also paradise. So Adam saw the city, the heavenly city. And after these things I showed it to my servant Abraham by night among the portions of the victims. Abraham saw it. And again also I showed it to Moses on Mount Sinai, when I showed to him the likeness of the tabernacle and all its vessels. They made a copy on earth of the things they saw in heaven. The tabernacle, all its vessels, New Jerusalem. And now behold, it is preserved with me, as also paradise. Go therefore and do as I command thee. And you've got Hebrews chapter 8, it's 1. Hebrews 8, now of the things which we have spoken, this is the sum. We have such a high priest who is set on the right hand of the throne of the majesty in the heavens, a minister of the sanctuary and of the true tabernacle, which Yahuwah pitched, and not man. Which Yahuwah pitched, and not man. For every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifices, wherefore it is of necessity that this man have somewhat also to offer. For if he were on earth, he should not be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the law, who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things, as Moses was admonished of Elohim, or Yahuwah, when he was about to make the tabernacle. For see, saith he, that thou make all things according to the pattern showed thee in the mount. But now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is a mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. So that's where Moses saw also Revelation 21:2, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Yahuwah out of heaven, prepared as a bride, adorned for her husband. New Jerusalem's a bride. Interesting. It says we're the building blocks too, so we are New Jerusalem too. Revelation 3:12, him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my Elohim, and he shall go no more out, and I will write upon him the name of my Elohim, and the name of the city of my Elohim, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my Elohim, and I will write upon him my new name. Stones. Peter, where you at? Where's it at? Stones, Peter. 1 Peter 2, 5-9. The internet goes down. I'm going to have to make a lot of notes writing by hand. All right, 1 Peter chapter 2, wherefore laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisies and envies and all evil speakings, as newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that you may grow thereby. If so be ye have tasted that Yahuwah is gracious, to whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of Yah, and precious, the Messiah, you also as lively stones are built up a spiritual house at holy priesthood to offer spiritual sacrifices acceptable to Yahuwah by Yahushua HaMashiach. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect and precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded. Unto you therefore which believe he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner, and a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed. But you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that you should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light, which in time past were not a people, but are now the people of Yahuwah, which had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy. Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims, strangers and pilgrims on the earth, abstain from fleshly lusts which war against the soul. Having your conversation, I believe in the Greek, that's your actions, honest among the Gentiles, that whereas they speak against you as evildoers, they may by your good works, which they shall behold, glorify Yah in the day of visitation. Might as well go there for a second. Isaiah 28:16. Therefore thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation, a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste. Judgment also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet, and the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the waters shall overflow the hiding place. And your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand, or Sheol. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then you shall be trodden down by it. So, very interesting. Heavenly Jerusalem, also the elect. Adam saw it, Abraham saw it, Moses saw it. Chapter 5. And I answered and said, so then I am destined to grieve for Zion, for thine enemies will come to this place and pollute thy sanctuary, and lead thine inheritance into captivity, and make themselves masters of those whom thou hast loved, and they will depart again to the place of their idols, and will boast before them. And what wilt thou do for thy great name? And Yahuwah said unto me, my name and my glory have an eternal duration, and my judgment shall maintain its right in its own time. And thou shalt see with thine eyes that the enemy will not overthrow Zion, nor burn Jerusalem, but be the ministers of the judge for the time. So they're doing the Father's will. But do thou go and do whatsoever I have said unto thee. And I went and took Jeremiah and Adu, and Sariah, and Jabesh, and Gedaliah, and all the honorable men of the people, and I led them to the valley of Hedron. And I narrated to them all that had been said to me, and they lifted up their voice, and they all wept. And we sat there and fasted until the evening. Chapter 6. And it came to pass on the morrow that, lo, the army of the Chaldees surrounded the city, and at the time of the evening I, Baruch, left the people. The Chaldees are the Babylonians. And I went forth and stood by the oak, this one they carried away to Babylon. And I was grieving over Zion, and lamenting over the captivity which had come upon the people. And lo, suddenly a strong spirit raised me, and bore me aloft over the wall of Jerusalem. And I beheld, and lo, 4 angels standing at the 4 corners of the city, each of them holding a torch of fire in his hands. And another angel began to descend from heaven, and said unto them, hold your lamps, and do not light them until I tell you. For I am first sent to speak a word to the earth, and to place in it what Yahuwah the Most High hath commanded me. And I saw him descend into the Holy of Holies, and take from thence the veil, and the holy ark, and the mercy seat, and the 2 tables, and the holy raiment of the priests, and the altar of incense, and the 48 precious stones, wherewith the priest was adorned, and all the holy vessels of the tabernacle. And he spake to the earth with a loud voice, Earth, earth, hear the word of the mighty Elohim, and receive what I commit to thee, and guard them until the last times. So that when thou art ordered, thou mayest restore them, so that strangers may not get possession of them. For the time cometh when Jerusalem also shall be delivered up for a time. And that's it's interesting. It says, for the time cometh when Jerusalem will be delivered up for a time. Because Babylon came and took Israel, but Israel came back. Then the Messiah came, and then Jerusalem was destroyed again for a time. Daniel 7:25, he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. Rome already did it. 4th beast. They changed times and laws. and they shall be given into his hand. And it says think to change, because yeah, they changed it in the minds of the people, but our Father's law is eternal. So they think to change them and deceive people, but they can't change them. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. Delivered up for a time. Until it is said that it is again restored forever. Until the end, when it's restored again forever. And the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up. So what's interesting about this here is they used the book of Maccabees to say that Jeremiah took the ark and hid it. But Baruch says that the angels took it and put it up. And you'll notice it says they put it up till the end. If you go and look on it's interesting, Ron Wyatt's videos, many fish. Where's it at? Many Fish on YouTube. He's got a video about the hand they found. And Ron Wyatt, while I'm not sure he found Noah's Ark, I'm pretty sure he found the Ark of the Covenant. So you watch Ron Wyatt's video here and Many Fish's video on what they found recently. Very interesting. So the ark is put up until it's ordered that thou mayest restore them in the last times. And it's very interesting what they've been finding. Chapter 7. And after these things I heard that angel saying unto those angels who held the lamps, Destroy therefore and overthrow its walls to its foundations, lest the enemy should boast and say, We have overthrown the wall of Zion, the holy city, and we have burnt the place of the mighty Elohim, or mighty Yahuwah, and you have seized the place where I had been standing before. You have seized the place where I had been standing before. Chapter 8, Now the angels did as he had commanded them, and when they had broken up the corners of the walls, a voice was heard from the interior of the temple, after the wall had fallen, saying, Enter ye enemies, and come ye adversaries, for he who kept the house hath forsaken it. That makes perfect sense that he would send angels to do that, because Jerusalem is a holy city, or was his holy city, and where his temple was at too. And I, Baruch, departed, and it came to pass after these things that the army of the Chaldees, Babylonians, entered and seized the house and all that was around it, and they led the people away captive, and slew some of them, and bound Zedekiah the king, and sent him to the king of Babylon. And Zedekiah, yep. That's interesting. Carrying away of Jerusalem captive in the 5th month. Yep, Jeremiah 21:7. And afterwards saith Yahuwah, I will deliver Zedekiah king of Judah and his servants and the people and such as are left in this city from pestilence and from the sword and from the famine into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, and into the hand of their enemies, and into the hand of those that seek their life, and he shall smite them with the edge of the sword. He shall not spare them, neither have pity nor have mercy. That is Zedekiah, king of Judah, shall not escape out of the hand of the Chaldeans. 32:5. Yeah, a lot about Zedekiah. And that's interesting about the 5th month, until they were taken captive, Jerusalem captive in the 5th month. And Ezra, it says they returned in the 5th month. Interesting. And chapter 9, Baruch, came, and Jeremiah, whose heart was found pure from sins, who had not been captured in the seizure of the city. And we rent our garments, and wept, and mourned, and fasted 7 days. Chapter 10, and it came to pass after 7 days that the word of Yahuwah came to me, and said unto me, Tell Jeremiah to go and support the captivity of the people unto Babylon. But do thou remain here amid the desolation of Zion, and I will show to thee after these days what will befall at the end of days. And I said to Jeremiah, as Yahuwah commanded me, and he indeed departed with the people. But Baruch returned and sat before the gates of the temple, and I lamented with the following lamentation over Zion, and said, Blessed is he who was not born, or being born hath died. But as for us who live, woe unto us, because we see the afflictions of Zion, and what hath befallen Jerusalem. I will call the sirens from the sea, and ye Leland, come ye from the desert, and ye Shaddim, and dragons from the forest. Awake and gird your loins unto mourning, and take up with me the dirges, and mourn with me. Ye husbandmen, sow not again. And thou earth, wherefore givest thou the fruits of thy produce? Keep within thee the sweets of thy sustenance. And thou wine, why further dost thou give thy wine? For an offering shall not again be made therefrom in Zion, nor shall first fruits again be offered. And do ye, O heavens, withhold your dew, and open not the treasuries of rain. And do thou, O sun, withhold the light of thy rays. And do thou, O moon, extinguish the multitude of thy light. For why should light rise again, where the light of Zion is darkened? And you bridegrooms, enter not in. And let not the brides adorn themselves with garlands. And you women, pray not that you may bear. For the barren shall rejoice more, and those who have no sons shall be glad. And those who have sons shall have anguish. For why should they bear in pain, only to bury in grief? Or wherefore again should mankind have sons? Or wherefore should the seed of their nature again be named? Where this mother is desolate, and her sons are led into captivity. From this time forward, speak not of beauty. Barren shall rejoice more. Galatians 4:27, for it is written, Rejoice, thou barren that bearest not, break forth and cry, thou that travailest not, for the desolate hath many more children than she which hath a husband. Now we, brethren, as Isaac was, are children of the promised, but as then he that was born after the flesh persecuted him that was born after the Spirit, even so it is now. Nevertheless, what saith the Scripture? Cast out the bondwoman and her son, for the son of the bondwoman shall not be heir with the son of the free woman. Ishmael. Jeremiah 31:13, Then shall the virgin rejoice in the dance, both young men and old together. For I will turn their mourning into joy, and will comfort them, and make them rejoice from their sorrow. That's returning of the from the captivity. Isaiah 66:10, Rejoice ye with Jerusalem, and be glad with her, all ye that love her. Rejoice for joy with her, all ye that mourn for her. The returning. As one whom his mother comforteth, so will I comfort you, and you shall be comforted in Jerusalem. Sarah was barren. So, let's see. And discourse not of gracefulness. Moreover, ye priests, take ye the keys of the sanctuary, and cast them into the height of heaven, and give them to Yahuwah, and say, Guard thy house thyself. For lo, we are found false stewards. And you virgins who spin fine linen and silk with gold of Ophir. These allergies got me messed up. Gold of Ophir. This right here is amazing what they found. I know a lot of people have an aversion to God culture, but they've done some excellent research. No one's perfect. Fear. Go to www.ophirinstitute.com. And I already read the whole book. I checked out all their research. And it's amazing. Ophir, Philippines. I'll show you. Oh, that's it right there. That one is it's got some beautiful pictures and stuff in it, but the real meat is in this one here. I got it on the shelf over there. Solomon's Treasure. Now, the first time I saw it, I said, Solomon's Treasure, I don't care about treasure. But then I went back around to it and just I'll check it out, see. And amazing. It's not just about Solomon's Treasure. But, ophirinstitute.com. And they've got a lot of other good resources, too, like Jubilees, Second Esdras, Rest Case for Sabbath. I read that. Not perfect, but it's a great book to get people to understand how important keeping the Sabbath is. Enoch. And I haven't read this one, but I've got all the rest of them. So very good research. The Gold of Ophir, Philippines. Hasten and take all things and cast them into the fire, that it may bear them to him who made them, and the flames send them to him who created them, lest the enemy get possession of them. Moreover, chapter 11. Moreover, I, Baruch, say this against thee, Babylon, if thou hadst prospered, and Zion had dwelt in her glory, it would have been a great grief to us that thou should be equal to Zion. But now, lo, the grief is infinite, and the lamentation measureless. For lo, thou art prospered, and Zion desolate. Who will be judged regarding these things? Or to whom shall we complain regarding that which hath befallen us? O Yahuwah, how hast thou borne it? Our fathers went to rest without grief, and lo, the righteous sleep in the earth in tranquility. See, they're in the earth. Just like Enoch says, just like Abraham's bosom, where he called out across the gulf, in the earth, beside the Garden of Eden. For they knew not this anguish, nor yet had they heard of that which have befallen us. Would that thou hast ears, O earth, and that thou hast a heart, O dust, that you might go and announce in Sheol, that's where the chambers are at, and say to the dead, blessed are you more than we who live. Loaded. Happy Sabbath, John and Mayan. Hope I got that right. Chapter 12. But I will say this as I think, and will speak against thee, O land which art prospering. The noonday doth not always burn, nor do the constant rays of the sun always give light. Do not expect and hope that thou wilt always be prosperous and rejoicing, and be not greatly uplifted and boastful. For assuredly in its own season wrath will awake against thee, which now in long suffering is held in as it were by rains. And that is no joke right there. And I don't claim to understand everything. There's probably tons I missed, but all praise to the Father. Hallelujah for what I do understand. That's not by me. Which now in long suffering. No, let's see. It is Where's that verse I'm looking for? I think it's Peter, but I'm not sure. Long suffering. Yep, be like your Father in heaven. Or our Father in heaven. Fruit of the Spirit is His fruit. He's holy. Long suffering and doctrine. There we go. Romans 9:22. What if Yahuwah, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction, and that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which he hath afore prepared unto glory, even us whom he hath called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles. As he saith in OC, this would be in the Greek Septuagint, it would say this. In the Old Testament Hebrew Masoretic, it'll say Hosea. I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, which was not my beloved. Hosea, where you at? Yep, if he were not long-suffering and merciful, no one would make it. None. Hosea 2:23, and I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy, and I will say to them which were not my people, thou art my people. And they shall say, thou art my Elohim. Praise Yah. And when I had said these things, I fasted 7 days, and it came to pass, chapter 13, after these things, that I, Baruch, was standing upon Mount Zion, and lo, a voice came from the height, and said unto me, stand upon thy feet, Baruch, and hear the word of the mighty Elohim. Yahuwah, because thou hast been astonished at what hath befallen Zion, thou shalt therefore be assuredly preserved to the consummation of the times, that thou mayest be a testimony. Preserved to the consummation of the times to be a testimony. You know, Elijah and Enoch's taken to the Garden of Eden. Doesn't specifically say Baruch, but maybe. So that if ever those prosperous cities say, why hast the mighty Elohim brought upon us this retribution? Say thou to them, thou and those like thee who shall have seen this evil, this is the evil and retribution which is coming upon you and upon your people in its destined time, that the nations may be thoroughly smitten, and they shall be in anguish. And if they say at that time, for how long? Thou shalt say to them, ye who have drunk the strained wine, drink ye also of its dregs, the judgment of the lofty one who hath no respect of persons. On this account he had before no mercy on his own sons, but afflicted them as his enemies, because they sinned. They were therefore chastened then, that they might be sanctified. But now, ye peoples and nations, ye are guilty, because all this time you have trodden down the earth, and used the creation unrighteously. Isn't that the truth? For I have always benefited you, and you have always been ungrateful for the beneficence. Chapter 14, and I answered and said, Lo, thou hast shown me the method of the times, and that which shall be after these things. And thou hast said unto me, that the retribution which hath been spoken of by thee shall come upon the nations. And now I know that those who have sinned are many, and they have lived in prosperity and departed from the world, but that few nations will be left in those times, to whom those words shall be said which thou didst say. For what advantage is there in this, or what evil worse than what we have seen befall us, or what are we to expect to see? But again I will speak in thy presence. What have they profited who had knowledge before thee, and have not walked in vanity as the rest of the nations, and have not said to the dead, give us life, but always feared thee, and have not left thy ways, his commandments, his ways. And lo, they have been carried off, nor on their account hast thou had mercy on Zion. And if others did evil, it was due to Zion, that on account of the works of those who wrought good works, she should be forgiven, and should not be overwhelmed. on account of the works of those who wrought unrighteousness, but who, O Yahuwah, my Elohim, will comprehend thy judgment, or who will search out the profoundness of thy path, or who will think out the weight of thy way, or who will be able to think out thy incomprehensible counsel, or who of those that are born hath found the beginning or end of thy wisdom? Who can know? It's only by his commandments that we know what we're supposed to do. Isaiah 55:8, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith Yahuwah. Next verse. Isaiah 55:9, for as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. We're made from the dirt. He's in the heavens. For as the rain cometh down, and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower, and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. For you shall go out with joy, and be led forth with peace. The mountains and the hills shall break forth before you into singing, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. That'd be a sight to see. Trees clapping hands. Unless that's an idiom for something. Instead of the thorn shall come up the fir tree, instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle tree, and it shall be to Yahuwah for a name, for an everlasting sign that shall not be cut off. For we have all been made like a breath, for as the breath ascends involuntarily and again dies, so it is with the nature of men, who depart not according to their own will, and know not what will befall them in the end. For the righteous justly hope for the end, and without fear depart from this habitation, because they have with thee a store of works preserved in treasuries. On this account also these without fear leave this world, and trusting with joy they hope to receive the world which thou hast promised them. But as for us, woe to us, who also are now shamefully entreated, and at that time look forward only to evils. But thou knowest accurately what thou hast done by means of thy servants, for we are not able to understand that which is good as thou art, our Creator. But again, that which is good as thou art. Matthew 19:17, and he said unto him, why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is Yah. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. None good but one. For we are not able to understand that which is good as thou art, our Creator. But again, I will speak in thy presence, O Yahuwah, my Elohim. When of old there was no world with its inhabitants, thou didst devise and speak with a word, and forthwith the works of creation stood before thee. And thou didst say that thou would make for thy world man as the administrator of thy works, that it might be known that he was by no means made on account of the world, but the world on account of him. And now I see that as for the world which was made on account of us, lo, it abideth, but we on account of whom it was made depart. Chapter 15, and Yahuwah answered and said unto me, thou art rightfully astonished regarding the departure of man, but thou hast not judged well regarding the evils which befall those who sin. And as regard what thou hast said, that the righteous are carried off and the impious are prospered, and as regards what thou hast said, man knoweth not thy judgment. On this account hear, and I will speak to thee, and hearken, and I will cause thee to hear my words. Man would not rightly have understood my judgment if he had not accepted the law. And I had not instructed him in understanding. Got to accept it, and he's got to show you. He's got to instruct you. Open eyes. What's that in there? Psalm 119:18. Open thou mine eyes, that I may behold wondrous things out of thy law. He has to open eyes and show you. You can read all day. It don't matter. If he don't show you, you won't see it. Proverbs 20:13. Love not sleep, lest thou come to poverty. Open thine eyes, and thou shalt be satisfied with bread. What bread? Luke 4:4. And Yahushua answered him, saying, It is written that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word of Yahuwah. Isaiah 42:7. To open the blind eyes, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house. Darkness without him. Eyes are open. Yep, Acts 26:18. To open their eyes and to turn them from darkness to light. What's light? His law. And from the power of Satan unto Yahuwah, that they may receive forgiveness of sins and inheritance among them which are sanctified by faith that is in me. Sanctified by faith. Isaiah 8:20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Proverbs 6:23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way, his ways of life. Paul said it. Acts 24:14. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, what's the church called when you keep the commandments now? You heretic. So worship I the Elohim of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets. There was another one I wanted to look up. So many. But now because he transgressed wittingly, yea, just on this ground, that he what thereof, he shall be tormented. And as regards what thou didst say touching the righteous, that on account of them hath this world come, so also again shall that which is to come on their account. For this world is to them a strife and a labor with much trouble, and that accordingly which is to come a crown with great glory. Isn't that the truth? Strife and labor and much trouble. Chapter Leon, Dion, Neon. Leon, Dion, Neon. Meon. Thank you. I'll try to remember. Sorry. Meon. All right. 16. Chapter 16. And I answered and said, O Yahuwah, my Elohim, lo, the years of this time are few and evil, and who is able in his little time to acquire that which is measureless? Few and evil. You could sit here all day long with the connections. Then when I think it's 2nd Esdras. Yep. Few and evil. Definitely Jubilees. The days of this evil generation. No peace. And chapter 17, and Yahuwah answered and said unto me, with the Most High account is not taken of much time, nor of few years. For a day is like 1,000 years. Peter. Second Peter 3:8, but beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day with Yahuwah is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. Imagine that. 1,000 years, one day. For what did it profit Adam that he lived 930 years and transgressed that which he was commanded? Therefore the multitude of time that he lived did not profit him, but brought death and cut off the years of those who were born from him. Or wherein did Moses suffer loss, in that he lived only 120 years, and inasmuch as he was subject to him who formed him, brought the law to the seed of Jacob, and lighted a lamp for the nation of Israel. We've seen that in Proverbs. The commandment is a lamp, and the law is light. And the parable of the wise virgins light their lamps. Let's see, chapter 18. And I answered and said, he that lighted hath taken from the light, and there are but few that have imitated him. But those many whom he hath lighted have taken from the darkness of Adam, and have not rejoiced in the light of the lamp. They rejoiced in the commandments. Chapter 19, and he answered and said unto me, wherefore at that time he appointed for them a covenant, and said, behold, I have placed before you life and death. And he called heaven and earth to witness against them. For he knew that his time was but short, but that heaven and earth endure always. But after his death they sinned and transgressed, though they knew that they had the law reproving them, and the light in which nothing could err, also the spheres which testify in me. Now regarding everything that is, it is I that judge, but do not thou take counsel in thy soul regarding these things, nor afflict thyself because of those which have been. For now it is the consummation of time that should be considered, whether of business or prosperity or of shame, and not the beginning thereof. So let's see. Yep, life and death. Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 30:19, I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. Keep his commandments and statutes and judgments. Because if a man be prospered in his beginnings, and shamefully entreated in his old age, he forgetteth all the prosperity that he had. And again, if a man is shamefully entreated in his beginnings, and at the end his end is prospered, he remembereth not again his evil entreatment. And again, hearken, though each one were prospered all the time from the day on which death was decreed against those who transgress, and in his end were destroyed, in vain would have been everything. Yep, in vain. Ezekiel 33. Ezekiel 33, again the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, When I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast, and set him for their watchman, the people of the land take a man and set him for a watchman. If when he see the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people, then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. He heard the sound of the trumpet, and took not warning, his blood shall be upon him. But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. But if the watchman see the sword come, and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come, and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, lawlessness, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand. So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth, and warn them from me. When I say unto the wicked, O wicked man, thou shalt surely die, if thou dost not speak to warn the wicked from his way, that wicked man shall die in his lawlessness, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Nevertheless, if thou warn the wicked of his way to turn from it, if he do not turn from his way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. Therefore, O thou son of man, speak unto the house of Israel. Thus ye speak, saying, if our transgressions and our sins be upon us, and we pine away in them, how should we then live? Say unto them, as I live, saith Yahuwah, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked turn from his way and live. Turn ye from your evil ways, for why will you die, O house of Israel? All Sunday church and breaking the commandments, Christmas, Easter. That's not scriptural. Therefore, thou son of man, say unto the children of thy people, the righteousness of the righteous shall not deliver him in the day of his transgression. As for the wickedness of the wicked, he shall not fall thereby in the day that he turneth from his wickedness. Neither shall the righteous be able to live for his righteousness in the day that he sinneth. When I shall say to the righteous that he shall surely live, if he trust in his own righteousness and commit iniquity, all his righteousness shall not be remembered. But for his iniquity that he hath committed, he shall die for it. That's why we need the Messiah. Again, when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, if he turn from his sin and do that which is lawful and right, if the wicked restore the pledge and give again that he had robbed, and walk in the statutes of life without committing iniquity, lawlessness, he shall surely live, he shall not die. None of his sins that he hath committed shall be mentioned unto him. He hath done that which is lawful and right, he shall surely live. Yet the children of thy people say, the way of Yahuwah is not equal. But as for them, their way is not equal. When the righteous turneth from his righteousness and committeth lawlessness, he shall even die thereby. But if the wicked turn from his wickedness and do that which is lawful and right, he shall live thereby. Yet you say the way of Yahuwah is not equal. O you house of Israel, I will judge you every one after his ways. Those in the law will be judged by the law. Romans 2. And it came to pass in the 20th year of our captivity. Okay, I'll stop there. So, judge for the ways. Yeah, pretty much what he's saying here. All the time from the day on which death was decreed against those who transgress, and in his end was destroyed, in vain would have been everything. Chapter 20. Therefore, behold, the days will come, and the times will hasten more than the former, and the seasons will speed on more than those that are past. And the years will pass more quickly than the present years. You notice how years fly by. Therefore have I now taken away Zion, that I may the more speedily visit the world in its season. Now therefore hold fast in thy heart everything that I command thee, and seal it in the recesses of thy mind, and then I will show thee the judgment of my might, and my ways which are past finding out. Go therefore and sanctify thyself 7 days, and eat no bread, nor drink water, nor speak to any one. And afterwards come to that place, and I will reveal myself to thee, and speak true things with thee, and I will give thee commandment regarding the method of the times, for they are coming, and tarry not. Tarry not. Habakkuk 2:3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, and it will not tarry. Let's go back to verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower. We just talked about a watchman. And will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahuwah answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. He may run that readeth it. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire is Sheol, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his? How long? And to him that layeth himself with thick clay? I need to go through the minor prophets again. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off my people, many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establisheth a city by lawlessness. Behold, is it not Yahuwah of hosts, that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for very vanity? For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yahuwah, as the waters cover the sea. Hallelujah. The knowledge of the glory of Yahuwah. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. And it doesn't talk just about physical drink, but drunken with bad doctrine. Sunday church. Thou art filled with shame, or Catholic church, or Jewish synagogue. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahuwah's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. For the violence of Lebanon shall cover thee, and the spoil of beasts which made them afraid, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, and of the city, and of all that dwell therein. What profiteth the graven image, that the maker thereof hath graven it, the molten image, and a teacher of lies, that the maker of his work trusteth therein, to make dumb idols? Woe unto him that saith to the wood, Awake, to the dumb stone, Arise, it shall teach. Behold, it is laid over with gold and silver, and there is no breath at all in the midst of it. But Yahuwah is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. It says in another place, no one will utter a lying word before him either. And you got stone. There's lots of other ones, but this is one that comes to mind big time. They got statues all over the place. Statue. They changed the commandments too. Well, they changed their set of commandments. Statues all over the place. Catholic Church statues. Say here. It is. Yeah, you see here the Catholic 10 Commandments. Yeah. Number 2, you shall not take the name of Yahuwah your Elohim in vain, or Lord your God. And you go over here. Deuteronomy 5. Thou shalt not make thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in earth beneath, or that is in the waters beneath the earth. Number 2. Missing. And then you go down here. And they split number 10, don't covet, into 2. Neighbor's wife, neighbor's goods. To make up for the second one they took out. And this one says, remember to keep holy the Sabbath day. But another set says Lord's Day. Not Sabbath day. Lord's Day. 10 Commandments, Roman Catholic Church version. Oh, they got a good graph there. There we go. Interesting. Zoom in a little bit. Yeah. Number 2, deleted. See also idolatry in the Catholic Church. Lord's Day. Baal's Day. Sunday. Constantine's Day. Sabbath's the fourth commandment. So that's interesting. I got it. Leon, Dion, Neon, Meon. Even David said, "Better is one day with you than 1,000 anywhere else." Yeah. David knows what he's talking about. I think I'm going to stop there. Got through 20 chapters. So, hopefully that was helpful to somebody and a blessing. And